Today we are going to practice our addition and subtraction using some different objects. Before we start, let's go over a few things. Who can tell me what it means to add? Good, it's when you take two numbers and you combine them to get a larger number. So what about subtraction? What does it mean to subtract? Good, it's when you take two numbers and you find the difference between them, usually by taking away the smaller number from the larger number. We are going to be practicing this together today, so everyone will need to be looking at the document camera. Now, it's important to remember a few things since we are still learning how to count. Sometimes when we're still learning how to count, we accidentally reverse numbers. So, using these physical objects help us to be able to count without being confused. For example, if there are 3 dogs, we have 1, 2, 3 dots to represent each of the 3 dogs. It is also important to remember that while using these physical objects can be very helpful, we have to remember to only count each dot once, since it only represents one object in the question. Now that we have covered a few of the common mistakes that we make while we're still learning how to count, let's go ahead and begin by looking at the first question. Remember that we are going to be using these dots as a helper for us as we count. Question number 1 states that there were 8 fish swimming together, and then 3 of them swam away. How many fish were left in the group? I have placed 8 red dots on the table, 1 for each fish that was in the group. So there are 8 total dots right here. If we take away 3 of them for the fish that swam away, all we need to do is count how many dots are left since they represent the amount of fish. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 fish are left over in the group once the 3 fish swam away. Let's look at number 2. Number 2 says there were 5 dogs at the park. 5 more dogs showed up. How many dogs are there now? Here I have placed 5 red dots to represent the number of dogs that were at the park to begin with. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is important to remember that only one dog gets 1 dot. 1 dot per dog. Now we need to bring in 5 more dots to represent the 5 dogs that showed up at the park. We'll use yellow so we can tell the difference between the two groups. So let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 yellow dots and 5 red dots. Now we need to add the 2 together to find out how many dogs there are total at the park now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There are 10 dogs total at the park. Alright, let's look at number 3. Number 3 says that Alex had 7 toy cars, but he gave 3 away to his friends. How many cars does Alex have left? So here I have placed 7 toy cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we need to take 3 away because he gave them to his friends. So we have 1, 2, 3. Let's move those to the side. Now we need to count how many cars are left over so we can determine how many car toys Alex has left. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alex has 4 cars left over once he gives 3 of them to his friends. Let's look at number 4. Number 4 says, yesterday there were 2 roses on the bush. Today there were 5 more roses. How many roses are now on the bush? To start with, we need to have 2 dots to represent the 2 roses that were on the bush yesterday. Now we need to add 5 more dots to represent the 5 roses that were shown on the bush today. So I have a different color so we can see the 2 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are the 5 roses that were on the bush today, and these are the 2 roses that were on the bush yesterday. We need to add these 2 together to determine how many roses are on the bush now. So we're going to add them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There are 7 roses on the bush now. Now that we have practiced using physical representations to help us add and subtract, you're going to work with the partner next to you to complete a worksheet with the same type of problems that we've done today. I will hand that out now. Whenever you are finished, bring it up to me.